Okay, let's start with 2 words. Game freak.
Mm-hmm.
When I say that, be honest. What's the immediate image that just fires into your brain?
Oh, it's Pokemon. It's got to be.
It's a red and white ball, right? It's Pikachu. It's a 10-year-old leaving home to catch 'em all.
Exactly. It's this global thing that's just dominated pop culture for, what, almost 3 decades.
Yeah. And it's basically impossible to separate the studio from that legacy.
You can't. I mean, they're not just a developer. They are the custodians of the highest grossing media franchise on the planet. And because of that, people forget they can make other things.
That's it. That massive Pokemon shadow just eclipses everything else.
It really does.
You think of them and you think safe, turn-based battles, cute designs, very family-friendly.
Right.
But today, we are taking those expectations and just throwing them right out the window. We're looking at a huge pivot.
A very big swing for the studio.
For sure. We're doing a deep dive into a project that feels like the complete opposite of a creature collector. We are talking about Beast of Reincarnation.
And we are not talking about filling a Pokedex here. This is a gritty, post-apocalyptic action RPG. And it has a very distinct visual style.
It seems so wild. We're talking about Japan in the year 4026, a protagonist with weaponized vine hair.
I love the vine hair.
And a gameplay mechanic described as, and this is the official phrasing, 1 person, 1 dog.
It's a fascinating premise. And honestly, looking at the source material we have, especially from the Xbox Developer Direct, this is a huge shift in tone for them.
And fidelity.
And fidelity, yes.
Yeah.
This is Game Freak stepping away from the, let's say, the safety net of Nintendo hardware to make a really high-fidelity action game.
Okay, so here's the mission for this deep dive. We need to unpack this vision of the future because it is dense and it is strange. We need to understand this 1 person, 1 dog thing because it sounds like way more than just a pet following you around.
Right.
And we absolutely have to talk about the elephant in the room, the technology. Because Game Freak, though, well, let's be charitable. They haven't been winning awards for technical performance lately.
That's the subtext that makes this whole thing so interesting, isn't it? Can the studio behind Scarlet and Violet actually pull off a beautiful, high-octane action game on a PS5?
That is the billion-dollar question. Okay, let's ground ourselves in the world first. The year 4026. This isn't flying cars and chrome cities.
Not even close. The sources describe a decimated Japan. The human population's basically wiped out, and the culprit isn't what you'd expect. It's something called the blight.
The blight. It sounds kind of fungal, but looking at the art, it's very leafy.
It is. It's described as a parasitic plant. So just imagine nature reclaiming the world, but not in that, peaceful Studio Ghibli way.
No, this is hostile.
This is hostile. It's consuming everything. It's an infestation that has literally strangled civilization.
And that brings us to our main character, Emma. She's not just a survivor. She's something very specific. She's a sealer.
Right. And this is a really crucial piece of lore. A sealer isn't just a job title. Emma has the ability to seal the blight inside her own body.
Whoa.
She absorbs the very thing that's destroying humanity.
Which you'd think would make her a hero, right? Like, hey, thanks for being a human sponge for the death parasite. We appreciate you.
You would think. But the character breakdown makes it seem much darker. It's fear. The sources say that because she can do this, because she's literally filled with the bites, blight people are terrified of her. She's a pariah.
So she's saving them, but they push her away. They won't let her live with them. That is so heavy.
It sets up a classic but really effective narrative. You have this character who is rejected by the very world she's trying to save, forced into isolation.
Yeah, it's giving me major tragic hero vibes. And, the sources do mention the dystopian elements are a bit on the nose, but honestly, for an action game, I think it works.
I agree.
It sets the emotional stakes right away. She's alone, she's misunderstood, and she's full of a parasitic plan.
And that isolation is key. It explains why the bond with the dog is so important. When society rejects you, that connection becomes your whole world.
Speaking of the dog, we have to get into this 1 person, 1 dog mechanic. Game Freak is really leaning into that phrase.
They are.
It's not just action RPG with a dog companion. It's 1 person, 1 dog. What's the distinction?
I think that phrasing implies a deep mechanical integration. Usually a pet in an RPG is just, a damage over time machine. It runs in, bites an ankle, you ignore it.
Right, it's just an extra sword.
Exactly. Here, the whole gameplay loop seems to be designed around them acting as a single unit.
Okay, so let's break them down visually. Emma, she's got a sword, magic, but the thing that made me really zoom in on the screenshots was her hair.
The vine-like hair.
Yes. It looks like dreadlocks made of actual plants. And then Ku, the dog,
Yes.
is this magical white dog with a tail made of vines and branches.
So there's this great visual symmetry. They're both touched by this nature magic. And what's fascinating is how that connects to the gameplay.
The skill tree, right.
Yeah, the sources mention a skill tree, but it specifies that their abilities impact each other. They literally unlock new powers as their bond gets deeper.
So it's ludonarrative harmony.
That's the perfect way to put it. As their relationship grows in the story, they get more powerful in combat. You're not just leveling up a sword, you're leveling up a partnership.
Can we go back to the hair for a second? Because this is where that game freak weirdness I love really shines.
Oh, for sure.
Her hair isn't just cosmetic. The gameplay descriptions say she uses it for platforming.
This is one of the most unique things. She can use her hair as a bridge to cross gaps.
A hair bridge. That is so wild.
And not just a bridge. The source describes her using her hair as, and I'm quoting, long stilt-like extensions of her legs.
Wait, like she walks around on hair stilts.
That's the visual. It's this specific, almost body horror kind of image that really sells that vine punk aesthetic.
It creates such a distinct silhouette, and it suggests that exploration isn't just running and jumping. You are physically manipulating your own body, this curse to get around.
Turning her curse into a tool.
I love that. The very thing people fear about her is what lets you explore the world. It's very Venom or Prototype, but with plants.
That's a great comparison. And while they're exploring on their hair stilts, they're obviously going to run into some trouble.
Plenty of trouble. Let's talk combat. Emma has her sword. Is this just a button masher? Or is there more to it?
It doesn't look like it. The notes specifically mention a parry system. And you could upgrade the sword with spirit stones, but they add special effects when you parry.
Oh, that's a huge design choice.
It is.
If you tie buffs to parrying, you're demanding the player be precise. You can't just spam attack.
Right. It suggests the combat rewards timing, reading enemy animations. It pushes the skill ceiling way up compared to a normal hack and slash.
But then to balance that, you have the blooming arts, which just sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
It sounds elegant, yeah, but the effect is devastating. These are powerful magic moves used by both Emma and Ku together.
And the key feature is
The slow down time.
bullet time, or blossom time.
Let's go with blossom time. It slows the action down, letting you harm or hinder enemies without being overwhelmed.
Which is so crucial in a chaotic action game. You've got a girl, a dog, vine hair, monsters. The screen is probably a mess. Slowing time gives you that moment to think.
It gives you tactical breathing room. It shifts the game from pure reflex to something more strategic.
So who are we using these blooming arts on? The enemies in this game sound deeply unsettling.
They're called malefax.
Malefax. Now, I have to bring up the little debate in our notes here on the pronunciation. Is it malefact or is it like artifact?
It's a funny detail. The source explicitly mentions this. They're guessing it rhymes with artifact. So, malefact based on the Japanese subtitle.
I'm going with malefact. It just sounds more sinister.
It fits the tone. And
Yeah.
basically, these are corrupt fusions of animals and the blight. So think of wildlife just twisted and overgrown by this parasitic plant.
But those are just the grunts. The real threats, the ones that got my attention, are the Nushi.
The Nushi, yeah. These are bosses. But a boss in this world isn't just a big guy in a room at the end of a level.
What are they then?
The Nushis are so powerful, they can create entire blighted forests around themselves.
Whoa. So they actually alter the environment.
Exactly. They create the obstacles, they create the enemies. When you go after Nushi, you're not just fighting a monster. You're fighting the entire ecosystem it created just to get to it.
That sounds incredible. It makes the boss fight feel more like a journey, not just an encounter.
It adds this layer of anticipation. You see the forest changing, you see the corruption getting thicker, and you just know you're getting close.
And just when you think you've got it figured out, plants and animals, the game throws you a curveball. Golems.
Robots.
But not just robots. The source describes them as robots with corrupted human souls.
That is dark. That's
Yeah.
significantly darker than what we expect from Game Freak.
It creates this fascinating triad of enemies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You have the blight, which is corrupted nature. You have malefax, corrupted animals. And then golems, corrupted technology and souls.
Nothing was spared. Nature wasn't, animals weren't, and even our own technology wasn't.
And in the middle of all this, Emma gets a job from a hologram.
A hologram of, and I am quoting from the source, perhaps the most cyberpunk-looking guy of all time.
Which is such a great contrast. This overgrown, reclaimed world. And then suddenly, cyberpunk hologram guy.
It tells you high technology still exists somewhere, It hasn't all been eaten. And he tasks Emma with defeating the titular Beast of Reincarnation to save the capital.
So there is a capital. There's a center of civilization left.
And thankfully, Emma isn't totally alone. There are other NPCs. We know she'll meet a guy named Brad, someone named Kagura.
And the mysterious swordswoman Kunai.
Yes. You don't get introduced like that unless you're going to be incredibly cool. That's a video game rule.
But think about what those characters mean. Emma starts out feared, isolated. But she has to interact with these people to succeed.
So the journey isn't just kill the big beast. It's a journey from isolation back to connection.
Reconnecting with humanity is probably just as important as killing the monsters.
Exactly. She has to prove to them, and maybe to herself, that she's not the monster they think she is.
Okay, I want to pivot to the real world for a second. Let's talk tech. Because when we talk about Game Freak lately, the conversation usually turns into a grievance session about performance.
It's been the major criticism of recent Pokemon games. Scarlet and Violet were famously rough at launch. Frame drops, pop-in, bugs.
It's been a tough few years for their technical reputation.
It has.
So naturally, when they announce a big 3D action RPG, my first thought is, can their engine even handle this? But the sources for this game are saying something different. They're using the word beautiful.
And there's a very good reason for that jump in quality. And it might surprise people who only associate Game Freak with Nintendo.
The platforms.
The platforms. At the time of this deep dive, this game is not coming to the Nintendo Switch. Not even the rumored Switch 2.
That is huge. Game Freak is Pokemon, Pokemon is Nintendo. And yet, their big new IP is launching on a Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
It's a massive departure. It's actually being published by Private Division. And by skipping the Switch, they are not constrained by mobile hardware. They are building for high-end consoles from day one.
So they can actually push the graphics, they can do the detailed vine hair, the dense forests, all the effects, without worrying about melting the hardware.
It suggests a scope and fidelity that just wouldn't be possible on the systems they usually work with. It's Game Freak Unchained.
It really feels like them flexing, like they're saying, look, we know what you think about our optimization, but look what we can do when we have the horsepower.
It's a statement piece. It shows they want to be known as more than just the Pokemon factory.
But there's a risk there too, right? Playing a Game Freak game on a PS5. The standards are just different.
They are. You're not competing with Animal Crossing anymore. You're competing with Final Fantasy X6, with Elden Ring. The bar for action RPGs on those consoles is incredibly high.
So true. You can't just coast on a brand name. The gameplay has to hold up. The parrying, the blooming arts, the hair platforming, it all has to feel premium.
No excuses for frame drops on a PS5.
None. Which brings us back to why that one person, one dog mechanic is so important. If they nail that bond, if Ku feels like a real partner and not an AI chore...
That could be the hook. That could be the thing that lets them stand toe-to-toe with the giants of the genre.
I am really rooting for them. I want to see what they can do with a fresh IP and high-end tech.
Me too. The industry needs developers to take these kinds of big swings. It would be so easy for them to just make another creature collector and print money. This takes courage.
So let's wrap this up. What are we looking at here?
We have Beast of Reincarnation launching this summer.
A visually stunning Vine Punk action RPG. You play as Emma, a feared sealer, and her vine dog Ku, and you're fighting plant zombies and soul robots in the year 4026.
On Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. No Switch.
It is a bold new direction. But before we sign off, I'm stuck on one detail you mentioned.
Which one?
The enemies. The blight is nature gone wrong. The golems are technology gone wrong.
Right. Both are trying to kill you.
So if nature is the enemy and technology is the enemy, where does that leave humanity? Are we just trapped in the middle of this war?
That's a great question. If the goal is to defeat the Beast of Reincarnation, does that mean breaking the cycle of both of them? Is the game suggesting that both extremes are the problem?
Exactly. Is the beast the thing that's actually keeping this whole destructive cycle going? Are we trying to save the world, or are we trying to change the rules of how the world even works?
That is the question. And I guess we won't know the answer until we play it.
Well, we'll find out this summer. Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the weird and wonderful future of Game Freak. Stay curious, everyone.